In this video, we will discover lamps. So here in Blender, we have here the object lamps that you can add with the add menu here, and you have the light here. We will not talk about light probe, it's a little more advanced feature, but already with lamps you will understand that there is a lot of things to do. There are a lot of things to do. So here we have already a light setup. So if I go into render view here, I will have my render view. Okay, you see the light that goes through the windows, create a shadow here and the light over there. So yeah, it's already done. Me, what I would like to do is show you how it works, basically how lights work. So for that, I will just create a new collection and deactivate the lights here and create lights experiment, let's say. Okay, good. And what I will do, I will just go into the world here settings. Here you can see that you have a world that is very dark gray here. Okay, so if you increase that, you will have already a global light into your scene. Okay, you can go and select the color that you want. Okay, but for the experimentation here, I want something totally black without any diffuse light like this, and like this I can just add lights and see really the effect of the lights. Okay, so the first light we will add here is the point. The point is very easy to understand. It's a little like a bulb or like maybe a candle or something like that. It's a light that will go to every directions around a point. Okay, so it will go like this, all directions. Okay, and it will decrease with distance. Okay, so the strength will decrease with distance. And what we will do to show that we will just take our lamp here and move it around. Okay, so I will just move like this, and you can see that if I go far from the scene, it will not affect the scene. Okay, so it will decrease with distance. You have the light options here that you can find over there. They are a little similar for all the kind of lamps that we can find, but more or less what you have for all the lights, it's the color and the power. So the color here, you can change the light color. For example, if I want something a little more like a candle, I will do this. Okay, I can increase the power as well to have something stronger or less strong. Okay, and I can use the soft here, fall off here. By default, the radius will change something very important. So by default here, the radius it as 0, but and it creates very sharp here. Okay, you can see very sharp shadows here. If you increase this radius, you will have soft shadows. Okay, so depending on what you want in your scene, you can play with that. Okay, so it's very important to understand that. And here you have some options like cast shadows or not. Okay, so create shadows or not. Shadow caustics, multiple importance, you always keep it like that, it's better for reduced noise. And shadow caustic here will create some caustics for objects that has some glass shaders or things like that. So if I add maybe here a mesh UV sphere, okay, scale it down, put it somewhere in the scene, like here, let's say, not far from the table, it will show better the effect. Okay, so in top view here, I will put it here, and in front view, orthographic mode, I will put it there. Make Ctrl+2 in that to have something smooth and make a shade smooth, and I will just create a new material. I will show you how it works this later. all these options here, but I will just go there into the transmission, increase the weight here. And maybe what we can do as well is decrease the roughness. Like this, we have something like pure glass, like this crystal ball here. So what we want here, when you select now the light there, if you enable shadow caustics, it will change a little here. It doesn't show that much, but it will change here a little the reflections here, and it will show better results, so more accurate results. It takes a lot of memory, this, so don't use it if you don't have any transparent material in your scene, okay? So this, it's the lamp point, and yeah, very useful for interior scenes, like for example light bulbs or things like that you can add. And any artificial lamp will be like this, except the spot that will be something that is directional, but this one, it's multi-directional, so very good to add in your scene. Okay, so this was the point. Now I will add the sun. Let's add the sunlight. The sunlight has a direction into it. It's not a multi-direction, it's just one direction, and it shows with this line here, okay? So you have direction. It means that if I make a rotation into my object, I will change the shadow like this, okay? It's into the entire scene. There is no fall off into it for the strength. So it means I can put my wherever into the scene, it will work into the entire scene. So for example, let's make a direction that will light a little everything there, something like that, okay? And you can see that now the direction is done, the direction of the light is done. And if I put my lamp even above like this, it will not change anything it will not change anything, or even behind the wall it will not change anything, because it's a unidirectional lamp with no fall off for the strength. So really here you have something that will work into the entire scene, whatever the direction or whatever the location of the lamp that you will put, okay? Here you can play with RZ, for example, for change the strength, so you can make this kind of sun effect that's rotating during the day. Can be interesting. You can change the color as well, you can change the strength. It's not a size, but it's an angle, and yeah, it makes more or less the same effect than the other lamp. It will create some soft shadows if you increase the value here, okay? So if you want something softer, you increase this angle. If you are between 0.5 and 0, you will have something really sharp. And if you put something, but with a little here blurriness in the edge of some, but if you put it at 0, you will have really perfect. And usually it's not really realistic. That's why 0.5 is a good value for the sun here. Here, so we have the sunlight, really important for exterior scenes for sure, but for interior scene as well. Like for example, if I have this and make a rotation to have something more like that, and make a rotation with this, now I can have this kind of light effect through the window, so can be very interesting as well, okay? You can cast the shadows, you can shadow the caustics if needed, and that's it. You can play with the strength as well to have something more or less. So here it's not power with watts, because it would be totally nonsense for a sun, okay? So it's just the strength for the entire scene. Usually you work between 1 and 5 maximum. Okay, so let's go for a next lamp here. I did add a sun here. I have another lamp to add. It's a spot. The spot, as it says, makes a spot effect, okay? Like a scene spot like this. So how it looks and how it works. Basically, a spot is a point, but reduced into a cone. So you can imagine that it's exactly the same behavior than a point, okay? So it will, by default, go into every directions here, and it's reduced into one cone, inside one cone that is here, that you can change here the cone size here, okay? So it will be inside, oops, sorry, it will be inside this shape, like that. Good. So now you can do several things with the spot that has specific things inside. It decreases with the distance as well, so it's exactly the same than the point. So if I make GZ, for example, it will be less and less. You can just click and drag here to play with the fall off. Here you can see that it will increase or decrease the fall off if you want something sharp or not. You can play with the power to add more strength into it. You can here make a direction to make something like that, make with air, so you can play with rotation as well. You can change the color, you can change the cast shadow, multiple importance, shadow caustics. Here we know how it works. And you can play with the spot size, okay? So by default it's 45 degrees. You can decrease it to have something sharper or more open like this, okay? So here you have the cone, very important for interior scenes, or for example to make some car lights or things like that, or exterior lights will work well with a spot like this as well. You have the possibility to use the blend here to make something a little less sharp like this, and you can show the cone inside the view to see a little how it will work, okay? So can be useful sometimes to use the spot, and yeah, very powerful for a lot of cases. Another one that is very important, yeah, again, the radius here will make your shadows less sharper or less sharp, okay? So here you have the spot. I will add another lamp. This one is the area here. So the area is a little different. It's like, if you watch it here, it's like a big it's like a big area like that. You can change the square to rectangle here, for example, to make, for example, let's say this kind of lights that will create different shadows or different reflections here. You can create here a disk if you want, another shape, and you can create an ellipse, for example, to have this kind of shape as well. So it can be very interesting. It's the size that will manage here the shadows. So if you have a big size, like for example this size here, it will create very soft shadows, as it's a real surface that will create the entire surface that will create the light and diffuse the light. So it's a directional one. It will go like this, okay, only, and not like that. So yeah, interesting to understand how it works. And here what we will do, we will just play a little with the settings. So it's a very interesting lamp to reproduce, for example, if you don't want to add an environment outside, you can use it for put it outside a window just not far from it. For example, let's take a square like this and make a rotation into the x-axis 90 degrees negative. Like this, it will go like that, okay? And I will put it with GY somewhere around here behind the window. And you can see it will create this kind of diffuse light that comes from the outside, so it can be very good for that. If you increase the power maybe to 50, you will have something interesting going there, okay? And yeah, it will create basically a soft light coming from outside. So yeah, works very well to create already something. Maybe I can change a little the color to something a little more yellowish, okay? And we will play with the different settings to create a studio with a 3-point lighting after in the end as an exercise. But yeah, basically you have the options for all the lamps here. As you can see, you have the same kind of options here. The only that is different here is the beam shape that you can change. So it will really change the direction of the light, it seems. But except that, you have nothing else to understand. So what I will do, I will come back where I was with this light and I will show you some examples. Let's say I would like to highlight some parts of the scene. So I will just click and drag this above everything, okay? Scale it up a little, like that. And maybe increase a little the power. But not that much. I just want a soft light here, okay? And then just with another one, I will just duplicate, go in front view, make a rotation like this, and put it somewhere here. Inside view here, sorry. Make a rotation here and put it behind the window, just like that. Good. And now I can increase the strength of it if I want. Like 50 maybe, might be good to have this kind of light that comes from outside. So yeah, we have this kind of lighting now. What I can do, make it sharper by making it more little. Okay, what I could do here, let's say I would like to highlight this plant only and not the rest of the scene. Maybe I find that this plant here is a little too dark and I would like to focus on it. So I would like a lamp that will affect only this object. And it's possible now with another option that we didn't see yet. I will add a point, for example. Make it at 5, not that strong, and put it there, okay, near this part. And let's say I really would like to only highlight the plant and not the rest. Maybe even 2 might be good. Yeah, something like this might be good. Nice. So you can see that it affects the table, it affects the other objects, okay? If I hide it here, you can see the results, and I would like really to only highlight this one. So sometimes it can be very important to manage lighting more precisely. So what you can do for that, you just go there and you will find the object that you want to highlight, and maybe you will put it with M in a new collection, and this collection will be the plant, or let's call it highlights. Good. So now I have a collection highlights there. I come back into my point here and go there into the object options, and you can see that into the shading tab here I have a light linking here. I will create a new one and I will add the collection that I want inside. So let's go there and find the new highlight collection that I did add here, and I will just click and drag like this, and now you can see that it's only the highlight collection that will be affected by the lamp. So it's very powerful one. Let's play a little and for example, we can move whatever object into this highlight collection. Let's say this one, I would like to highlight it too. So I will go there and I will just put it into, oh, not this one, put it into the highlights, and you can see that now it's affected by the lamp and not the rest of the scene. You can make exactly the same system. For example, the shadow linking here, it's the light linking and the shadow linking as well. So you can put the shadow only into the table, for example, and let's make it like put the highlights. So we will create not highlights, but a shadow. Okay, and I will create it like this. So now I can make exactly the same by shadow linking, create a new one and add the shadow for here like this. And now it will receive the shadow as well. So you can see that it's very interesting to work with this feature, and it's a lot of possibilities that you can play with like this to create light system that maybe you want to focus on one object, or sometimes when you make shaders into a character, for example, maybe you want to focus on the eyes only, and maybe the eyes are separated objects, so you want to highlight these eyes to have more expressions or something like this, and you can play with these settings as well. So yeah, very powerful system here for light linking, shadow linking as well. And now what we will do into the next video, we will see how to use images to create an entire light system just with one click. Very easy to do. And we will see that into the next video.